We had breakfast for dinner.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. On this episode of Doing the Most, we're checking out David's first brew.
Homemade brews and various how-tos, everything from mead to roast, big creation, fermentation, inebriation, doing the most.
We're back. This has been a month. Yeah?
Yeah, right
About a
at,
month.
I think.
You wanted this drinkable by New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And today is December 11th.
And I drank some of it last week.
So, nailed it.
Yeah, pretty good.
So, how was your experience using the Homebrew Ohio kit?
I actually thought it was pretty nice, pretty convenient, especially for the price versus something like that Mr. Beer kit that you've gone over. I was happy with it. I obviously did not use the cleaning kit or the cleaning agent that came with it.
So you got some Star Sand.
Got some Star Sand. I also didn't use their yeast. I'm sure you could. I mean, I doubt it would be.
Yeah, it was like the Cote de Blanc yeast, I think.
Yeah.
The white wine yeast.
Yeah, I didn't use that, but I'm sure it works fine.
What yeast did you use?
I used some Kvike.
Yeah. So what's in here? What was your process?
So the process was a pound and a half of honey, and then the yeast and some water. Added some nutrients. This was for a 1 gallon. I added like a half gram a day for I think 4 days.
Okay.
3 days, 4 days. It probably honestly didn't need all of that, but it looked cool.
Yeah.
So I left it in primary for 2 weeks, I guess.
Okay.
But about midpoint of that, so about 7 days in, I added about a cup of freshly cut pineapple.
Okay.
You could definitely add a lot more than that, but I didn't want it to be overpowering.
Sure.
Then racked it off into the glass carboy and cold crashed it for 2 weeks. I actually think that after the first week, legitimately, it was probably fine.
Yeah.
So I just let it sit in there.
And you added some heat to this, yeah?
I did.
You do that
So
at bottling?
I did that before bottling. I did that in secondary. I added 1.5 tablespoons of super hot extract, I guess.
Yeah. Did it look like this?
Yes, it did actually. It looked very similar to that.
Yeah.
I did not use his.
We'll be doing shots of this later.
Whew, I don't know about that. But I just soaked the super hot in vodka. I mean, I don't want to get into it before we taste it, but it could be hotter. You could double it, I think, or you could also just add a little bit per bottle whenever you're bottling it.
Bottoms up, I guess.
Give it a shot.
Smells like mead. It does have pineapple on the nose.
Mm-hmm. There is. You can smell it.
Yeah, it's there's pineapple just like hanging out over the glass. You didn't back sweeten this, did you?
I did not.
Okay. It's not sweet, given that you didn't back sweeten it.
Right.
Like there is a perceptible sweetness there, which I would probably attribute to that Lutra Kvike that you used. I've got a traditional back here I'll have you try later that was made with that, well, it was the original yeast that I gave you, and it finished at 1.0, and it still tastes sweet. So I think that might just be a characteristic of this yeast.
And mine actually did finish slightly below 1.0, like just a touch. I don't remember the exact decimal, but it was just under 1.0.
I would like this carbonated, honestly. I think a little bit of sparkle would really enhance this. The pineapple flavor is good. The pineapple flavor is right up front. You do get honey in like the mid palate, that like bitter floral, like the essence of honey, and then there's just like, if I exhale hard enough, I can taste the heat.
Yeah. And if you sit down, I mean, if you sat down and drank this whole bottle of this, which you could because it's very low ABV,
That's
it's
light.
like between 5 and 6. It'll build up a little bit because of, using the extract basically. But I definitely think you could easily double the amount of the extract that I put in there and it would still be tolerable. Like pretty tolerable.
If I really work at it, I can get the heat.
Yeah.
I have to kind of like move it around my palate and kind of rub it into my taste buds.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do get that. And interestingly, you were going for kind of a tepache thing here. It does have tepache vibes.
Yeah, it does.
Which is interesting because you did not use any of the peel from the pineapple, but it almost has that funky tepache kind of flavor in there too. I mean, right across the mid palate.
Yeah.
with those honey notes.
I think it's because I left it in there for a week. And that yeast tore through that pineapple. So I think the yeast definitely helped out with that.
This is honestly, this is one I probably wouldn't back sweeten. I think you could carbonate this, and there is enough of that residual sensation of sweetness in there that I don't think you need erythritol or honey or anything in there. I think you could bottle condition this, and it would be stellar. If I were you, I'd like take one of your bottles and throw a carbonation drop in there and see what happens.
Might as well. I can.
No, this is a great first go. Like,
I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, I would change things, obviously.
What would you change about?
I would add more heat.
More heat.
Number one, because I think also in the carbonation, you're not going to have any heat at all. I mean, you can get it a tiny bit with the still, but you add bubbles to that, goodbye heat.
Yeah, all that texture or textural sensation is going to kind of shroud the heat.
I think it tastes good, though.
No, it's lovely.
As far as the flavor goes. It's a little dry, but not bad. Not in a bad way.
No, not bad at all. It helps highlight the pineapple flavor in an interesting way. Overall, I've had several first brews of people's before, and I think that this one is very impressive compared to some of what I've tried. And my early brews were not always great, as you may remember from decades past.
They were fine.
We were younger then.
Yeah. We weren't Keystone lighting it, but
No.
we were not accustomed to nicer beverages back then. So we didn't care. But
So it is what it is. I think this is wonderful, though. Hell of a job. 4 out of 5.
well, thank you.
So I think I would like to see you brew this again at some point.
I want to. I think that, I don't see why this couldn't become like a better recipe. And I bet if I brew it 2 more times, I'll probably just be done with the recipe. But
Yeah.
a few slight alterations.
So if you're interested in getting started making your own mead, we recommend,
I would.
the Homebrew Ohio Mead Kit for beginners. Any parting words? Any amazing tips or hacks that you learned during this process?
No. I will say it's not as difficult as I think a lot of people think it is. I didn't have to heat anything up with this. Like, no cooking, no anything, just sanitization and throw stuff in a bucket and then into a carboy.
And the
then into
Discord was
bottle.
really helpful when you did have
Yes.
questions.
Very much so. I appreciate that. The Discord's kind of the reason all of this even happened
Yeah.
in the first place. So
The Discord's great. There's a link on your screen, I'm sure. It's discord.doingthemost.org. They're incredible. It's a wonderful community. Jump in there and join now. You can follow us on Instagram and Pinterest at Doing the Most OK. Website's doingthemost.org. Discord is discord.doingthemost.org. And until next time, happy brewing. Stay safe.